Well, hello everyone. I am here with Brannin Pitre, who is the chairman and president of Together LA, and I would say my boss. So, Brannin, thanks for finding some time to talk.
Well, thanks, Tommy. I don't know if I'd call myself a boss of anybody, but but I'm glad to be here.
Hey, Brannin, year has passed. We're past the 1 year anniversary of COVID, and a lot of times, but yet Together LA continues to still be in operation. We're still as busy as ever. Talk a little bit, share a little bit about your updates and your thoughts regarding Together LA.
Yeah. Well, Together LA really it's kind of odd to be promoting our ministry because we really desire to be behind the scenes and not known. Our whole initiative is to ask and answer the question consistently: how do we love the city? And we want to do that by promoting others, not by promoting ourselves. So we want to partner with and encourage existing individuals, ministries, and organizations that do just that love the city and do it well. And so even in the pandemic, we have been active trying to highlight and promote ministries, organizations, and individuals that are engaged in the city, that are thinking about how do we move through this time. A year into it, it's one of those common things that worldwide we can share together, and so the conversations are very much lockstep. We're all in this trying to figure it out. So it's been quite interesting to walk that road with so many people over the last year and to try and figure that out for ourselves.
And Brandon, wouldn't you say a lot of times it is about that partnerships? For instance, every single month we do a Women of Color gathering. And so we have Nicole Rivas and Dr. Laverne Tolbert, who is our partners, Brandon, there is no way you and I could speak into not only women leaders, but people of color. There's no way we could do it. But then we have partners like Dr. Tolbert and Nicole doing this.
Well, those are two of my favorite people on earth. And they have been doing the work for a long, long time. They know the city, they know their ministry, they know what is needed, especially within that particular group. And women in particular need an advocate like Nicole and Laverne, and they've done a fantastic job. I would sit under their leadership forever.
Yeah. Or even Dr. Robert Romero at UCLA. You and I had a chance, and so that podcast interview will be released soon. It's learning about the Brown Church in LA, some of the issues with migration, what Latino theology or Brown theology refers to, is things that I've never heard about, really, in Asian American.
Yeah, Robert, for those of you who don't know Robert Romero, he is one of the leading historians of our city. And he is a professor at UCLA. His book, The Brown Church, is a phenomenal work. And the way in which he is able to articulate the deep, deep-rooted issues that we have systemically throughout the city that has grown over 100 years within Los Angeles is quite remarkable. He is one that we should be listening to. He's a present voice and a future voice for not only the Brown Church, as he calls it, but for all of us. Quite interesting and wonderful interview that we had with him yesterday. I was blessed myself to be part of that. Tommy, you kind of talked about several different initiatives that we have going on, but those 5 key areas that we lean into: the local church, faith and work, justice and mercy, and then what we call the academy and generations. I can explain those real quick. The local church is anything that we believe in order to create a gospel ecosystem in the city. You've got to have at least these 5 areas working. And so Together LA wants to be kind of that hub holding these pieces together. The local church and all the initiatives that it does. And we see that primarily taking place in our interaction in the city through church planting or church renewal, and understanding how that works within multiple denominations or independent churches, things of that nature. So we have that going on. We partner with a group called City to City LA in particular, that does a lot of our training for church planters. Another area that you mentioned in particular with Nicole Rivas and Laverne Tolbert is faith and work. And that is any organization that's trying to help us better understand how we engage as Christians into our community and into our jobs. In order to have a healthy gospel ecosystem, you need to have that working. Most of us are not in full-time vocational ministry. Most of us are out working 9-to-5 jobs or multiple jobs if you're living in LA. And we want to know, how are we to integrate? How are we to live for Christ's glory? A third initiative is mercy and justice. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of ministries and organizations in the city that try and interact with acts of mercy or acts of justice. And so we want to partner with those to highlight what they're doing so that people can find the help that they need, receive the help that they need. Organizations like Homeboy Industries. We have a wonderful, I call him a dear friend, Michael Mata, is on staff with us, and he helps us run that initiative throughout the city, where we're trying to find and integrate those ministries within the city. A fourth area is what we call the academy. An academy is any kind of formal or informal theological training that goes on. So those are institutions like Biola or Fuller or West Angeles Church of God in Christ has its own training center within their church and denomination. And so we think that in order to, again, create that gospel ecosystem, you need to have some sense of theological training going on. So we want to partner with and look at those kinds of things ahead. And the last one I'll mention is generations. Those are any ministries or organizations or even individuals that work with age-specific groups. Those groups might be children's ministry or high school or college ministries, or even an older group of folks that we're trying to care for. So for me, there may be more areas of ministry and groups that we'd want to partner with, but those 5 key areas, if those are working well within a city, that ecosystem, that drive, that the way in which we empower and improve our city really flourishes. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to move the needle in that direction.
And Brannin, you've talked many times, even at the beginning, a lot of times, you don't want Together LA known. In some sense, we're not here to start our own initiatives. We're actually the person coming alongside these existing ministries, because we realize when we do things in partnerships versus we're going to do our own thing, come and partner with us, it just doesn't work within the city of LA. That's
right. LA is built on, the stereotype that everything is big and wonderful and look at us. And we have seen that as detrimental to building partnerships and lasting impact in the city. One way you might describe it is empire building. And so there's churches and organizations that have come in and said, we can do everything and we can do it the best. And that's just not possible. There are good things that are going on in big, giant organizations and big, giant ministries, but we're not about building our own empire. We would rather sit back and say, how do we promote you and you get the glory? You can do it better than we can. We just want to highlight that and connect you to others who are doing similar things throughout the city. If we're here for ourselves, we can only reach a small percentage of folks. One church, even a great church, can't reach everyone in the city of LA. It's just impossible. Whether it's our cultural differences, our theological differences, our style differences, whatever it might be, we can't do it alone. And so the more we take that imperialistic mentality down and really try and serve those that we're partnering with, the better it is for us. My hope is that folks would say, something's being sponsored by Together LA. I love what's going on, but I have no idea what Together LA is. And then they'd find out that we are behind the scenes. So,
and Brannin, in some sense, that's why you've put together a diverse team members as well as board members. You have Michael Mata or even Larry Acosta, who is part of formerly, now it's the City LA. Then on our board, you have Wilfred Graves from West Angeles. You have Nicole Rivas, Dr. Laverne Tolbert. You have Jeremy Treat from Reality LA, or Eden or Russell Jorkman over in the tech entrepreneurial space. All of that allows us to work together to engage the city effectively.
Yeah, and we've tried to take new voices and older voices within the city. And so you've got folks like Ken Korver, who's been in Paramount for many, 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 many years and has done a fantastic job and has built trust and accountability within that city. So much so that they're able to start the Compton Initiative, move one city over to help start revitalizing and repairing the city of Compton. So it's quite remarkable, and I hope that people are able to see the diversity that we've been able to gather and empower. So,
last thing, Brannin, if someone sat there and asked you, what will the ecosystem look like a year or 2 years from now? What are you envisioning this ecosystem to look like?
That is a great question, and I think all of us are in a little bit of stunned mode, beginning to come out of California in particular, and LA more so, just at the beginning stages of coming out of COVID. And so I think a lot of us have been hesitant to think, what does the next year look like? We've always been folks who plan ahead, and then all of a sudden 2020 happens and we get locked down for a year. As we start to come out, I don't know exactly what that looks like. But if I have a hope and a dream of what that might look like, is that we have much more synergistic cooperation and partnership with many, many more ministries within those 5 areas, those 5 key areas that we have. And that our communication is running smoothly through the city, that we are able to grow our numbers that we reach with our communication, and that flourishes in that sense. So it's more of the same partnership mentality, but much more engaged and seen throughout the city. So more known.
Brent. Hey, last thing is, we're going to record this and it'll probably be released before Easter. You guys are planning something big for Good Friday. Can you talk a little bit about what you usually do in Pasadena during the Good Friday?
Yeah, well, so in relation to my role with Together LA, I also pastor a church in Pasadena. And so we do a Good Friday service. And I had a thought that beyond our own church and more for the city, we wanted to do something kind of reflective and thoughtful. We're not going to quite get there this year with it, but we're hoping that we can get something put together with Propaganda, who is a spoken word artist. And Prop is a great guy, great artist. He is releasing parts of his 4 albums actually throughout the year. And then his book comes out in June. And so we're recording Prop in the next week or so to do some spoken word pieces for us, and how we might be able to link that into a service together. So we're hoping that gets done and out to you guys, that you might be blessed by it too.
Very good. Brannin, Together LA. For more information, actually, you know what? I'm going to stop. I'm going to start. For more information on Together LA, go to togetherla.net. That's togetherla.net. And that is _@together_LA on Instagram. Hey, for Brannin, I gotta have to apologize to you because this is a mistake. I actually clicked on Resource Global. So for those who are watching, I messed up. It is not resourceglobal.org because I clicked on the wrong banner. It is togetherla.net. That is togetherla.net. Brannin, I hope. Sorry about that, Brannin.
That's fine. The kingdom's way bigger than that. And I love that you're partnering in so many different other organizations. As you lead Resource Global, we're part of that too. So I love it. It's great.
Thank you so much, Brannin. Talk soon.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Tommy.